All right, guys, this is the Solana forecast for August 4th. There's a new moon that's squaring the Solana Venus, and we're getting a Mercury retrograde around the same time. So I wanted to make a really interesting video here. Welcome back to the Crypto Astro channel, bringing radical, innovative new approach to crypto analysis, combining technical analysis with astrology. I'll get my predictions and what I'm doing at the end of the video. Also, please use caution in the comments below, as there are many spam bots that are promoting false crypto projects. Don't fall for those. None of this content is financial or investment advice. This content is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. So let me show you guys really quick previous Solana predictions that I made back in May in my private Crypto Astro mastermind. Take a look at this. And I warned you guys about... I'll show you in this area. I warned you guys about this slow summer. So towards the end of May here, I was saying around here, you know, this area here, that there's a lot of caution, okay? And look what happened. We dumped all the way down to 120 for Solana. And I was actually able to sell some before that happened and then buy a bunch more back in at around 120. In fact, around 123 was it when I was buying Solana like crazy on July 4th with the fireworks going off here in the United States, because I was thinking that was a really great opportunity. So here's the video where this is in my private Crypto Astro Mastermind group. You can click the links below to see how to access this. But this is the information that you would have got back in May of this year. Is like I was saying, I plan to sell 10-20% of my bags, possibly, yeah, in the next week or two. I'm thinking I'm gonna wait till this full moon on May 23rd. I'm gonna see what happens. How high are the markets gonna pump? How high is Solana gonna go? If, you know, I think we could get another pump. If Solana, you know, just pumps up to like, oh shoot, you guys aren't even seeing what I'm pulled up. Oh, can you guys see the astrology right now? Can you see this astrology chart? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if I actually pulled it. Okay, hold on for one moment here. Okay, so you've been seeing this. So what I was saying, let me just double check here. Okay, so you guys can see this chart. So I have the Solana chart here. If you can't see it, let me know. So I'm thinking, you know, if we do pump on this full moon, you know, are we just going to hit around this recent peak around, you know, 200 or 210? Or the really bullish case is if we just go like that, if we just pump through this recent high. So I warned about the negative Solana astrology that we were getting. I'll show you here that we were getting on May 30th all the way, and we get a second hit on July 29th. So here's where I overviewed that all the way back in May. And guys, this is looking at the Solana astrology, the astrology based on the birth date of Solana, when Solana had the first Genesis block. And we were able to predict this downtrend this summer, this dump all the way down to 120. Getting Saturn conjunct the Solana Neptune. And Neptune is the planet of deception, and it's kind of when we get to, you know, Neptune. Okay, Neptune is I believe the ancient Greek god for Neptune is Poseidon, the god of the god of the ocean, the god of the seas. So Neptune is all about, you know, the metaphor that I was saying, like, you know, guiding a ship through the ocean, captaining the ship. But then I later talked about how when Saturn is conjuncting Neptune, the god Poseidon, it's bringing a lot of contraction, a lot of hard lessons in reality. And typically that brings dumps in the crypto markets. Historically, we also, I mean, the amazing thing was we're getting a negative Bitcoin astrology transit June 17th all the way to July 11th. And that was around the same time that we're also getting this negative Solana transit, and we did get that major dump as predicted. So I wanted to share that with you guys in the private Crypto Astro Mastermind. Okay, now let's dive into, I believe, the charts here. So we're looking at the daily close. We just closed yesterday lower, but it's not looking too bad. I mean, if we zoom out, we have jumped out of this wedge formation, you know, this wedge from the peak all the way over here. And then this one back to this low in January of this year.
we got this higher low, very nice higher low, on July 4th when I was buying a bunch of Solana right in that area. And we are jumping above this wedge formation. It's looking very, very bullish. I mean, Solana is just, yeah, looking very, very good. So we'll see what's in store for today. Are we going to just continue to go up? We could at some point bounce off of this level. That would still be very bullish. This level's around, I mean, this 50% level is at 164. So there's potential major level of support there potentially, but we'll have to see if we do get a bounce off around 164. Next level will be 160. That's a nice clean number. And then if you take a look at this yellow line here, this is the 21 SMA yellow line coming up here. The yellow line's just getting really close to that 160 level. It's at 158 right now, but probably in a couple days, if Solana stays strong, it'll be at 160. So yeah, getting a bounce around 160 would be extremely bullish. The bearish case is if we did something and we went right below that and we started taking out these levels. If we started taking out, 160 and then we go down to, I'm looking at 151 as the next level of support if we do bounce down lower, because typically we do see a decent amount of support and resistance around that, like approximately 152, 151. So that's actually where I am looking at if we go down further, kind of this area here. As you can see, we historically hit that level, we kind of bounce off of it, and then once we get above it. But if we break through that level, then we've headed down to the 120s, and then we get resistance there before we head back down. So that's an important level that I'm looking at. If we zoom out, clean this up a little bit. The next weekly close is going to be really telling. I mean, but this recent weekly close is incredibly bullish. This massive green candle, we broke through this wedge formation. We closed the week at 184, which is extremely bullish. So we could get a nice healthy correction in the next week, heading out to July 29th for sure, and that would be healthy. We'll see what the next layer of support will be, where we bounce from there. If we do, in fact, get a bounce. If we zoom out to the 2 weeks, that's, of course, looking really good. The monthly, getting a nice green candle. So the monthly close, here it is. Monthly close for July is going to be critical. The only concern is we're getting a final bearish transit on the Solana astrology, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. Another thing is, if we zoom into the 2 monthly chart, we've got this pretty intense gravestone doji, March through April. We went all the way to the high for this cycle, and we got selling action all the way down, and we closed the 2 monthly close around 126, 127. So there is a possible chance, could we head down to that level again? I am not certain, but it's possible, because this gravestone doji can cause some trouble in the next 3 months, but we'll see. Approximately. Typically from this, we could see a slowdown for the next 3 to 6 months from April, taking us out a little bit later, potentially in October, but that's just an estimate. The good news is we've been looking extremely bullish the next 4 months here, but we'll have to see where for the months of September, October, well, first July and August, where those take us. So that'll be very interesting. Okay. Now, and let me know what questions you guys have in the comments about Solana. Let me know what you are thinking about for this chart. But I mean, looking very good. Oh, I also want to show the Solana Bitcoin chart. This is very telling as well. I mean, this is looking very bullish, more so than most altcoins. If we take the, actually, I might have to move this up. But let's make a new Fibonacci line from here down to the bottom, which looks to be about right here. The 50% level is around here. So we are sitting above that 50% level. Typically that is bullish. So we have, and we're getting through this. We're getting above this 21 SMA, which is also really bullish. We did head down below that in June, towards the end of June, but ever since then we've been just bouncing up. And then another really interesting chart is Solana versus Ethereum, which is looking pretty similar. But as you can see, similar to the Bitcoin chart, we're getting this really nice higher lows here. So we get higher low, we get another higher low here. Could be heading up to another higher low. Could we bounce off of this 50% level, which is also near this yellow line, this 21 SMA around this level, 0.046 for Solana versus Ethereum. This chart is for how strong Solana is performing versus Ethereum. And so far it is getting bullish, higher lows. Yeah, I mean, so Solana is still looking stronger than Ethereum, which is very fascinating. Perhaps it's because of the faster network and lower fees. Could we say that? It makes sense. The really strange thing is that Ethereum's ETFs are live, I believe. And we're not seeing much of a pump for Ethereum. So that is quite telling. We're kind of seeing crypto not doing much right now, which is very interesting, a little bit surprising. But people were saying that the Ethereum ETF, it does not look as bullish as the Bitcoin one. Okay, so definitely subscribe if you guys haven't already. And definitely click that like button if you want me to take a look at the Solana astrology here. And let's see what, okay. And if you guys have any comments, just type it in the chat here. Okay, so looking at the Solana astrology. Okay, one thing that's interesting, so I made this video about this new moon coming up. So we're getting this new moon right here, the sun conjuncting the moon on August 4th. The interesting thing is we're getting an exact square to Venus, to the Solana Venus specifically. So this is a bit bearish. And then in addition to that, right after that, we get Mercury turns retrograde. So here's Mercury and it turns red. That means it's going to go backwards. Mercury retrograde is getting a specific aspect. Let me take a look. Venus is opposite the Solana Mercury. So if we look at where Venus is right here, yeah, Venus is opposite. So this is the Solana Mercury. They're both at 0 degrees, and this Solana Mercury is at 0 degrees. That's a bit negative. So could we start to see a slowdown? We're already seeing a bit of a market slowdown right now, which is interesting, and that aligns quite well with this Solana astrology that I warned you guys about back in May, saying this is looking very bearish. We could see a market slowdown. I was taking profits end of May. That's what I was talking about. So we got this hit back, I believe at the end of May. I believe it was May 30th, May 31st. Now we're getting it a second time because Saturn is retrograding. So July 29th, it's happening pretty soon. We're getting another direct hit. So could that continue to slow Solana down? Very interesting thing is Bitcoin also got a negative transit, very similar with Saturn. And then you got a second direct hit on July 11th. And what did we see with Bitcoin? Bitcoin started getting very bullish price action after that. So we got July 11th right here. A couple days later, we got the Trump assassination attempt. And then Bitcoin just massively headed up. So could we see something like that with Solana? The interesting thing is we're already seeing Solana get a really nice pump already. But maybe there's a little bit more of a correction. I don't know how low, around July 29th. Sometimes when we get that negative astrology transit and then we come out of it, then we get a big pump. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it's certainly possible. And we could get that pump heading into the new moon, making a local peak around August 4th, give or take a week. And then we're getting Mercury retrograde after that. So Mercury retrograde historically tends to slow down the markets. We could get sideways action. We could get a dump. And Mercury retrograde is about August 4th through towards the second half of August. I believe around August 25th it lasts. So that's very significant. We're going to be keeping our eyes on that. Yeah, so I'm giving you guys the goods today. I'm giving you a lot of really high value information. What else do I want to chat about? We are also getting very negative astrology around August 14th with Mars. Actually, August 15th, Mars squaring Saturn. And then we're getting Mercury retrograde squaring Uranus. Second half of August. And then August 19th, we get Jupiter squaring Saturn on a full moon. Typically on a full moon, we may see a dump and a pump. But since it's such negative astrology, we might just see a dump. So that is very important to keep an eye on. So it's tough to say, but it looks like things are going to get slower in the second half of August, potentially particularly after the new moon around August 4th. Could we see a peak around then, a local peak? I'm not sure where that peak will be. But it could be a bit higher than where we are right now if all goes well. However, we got to get out of the woods after that July 29th negative hit on the Solana chart. There could be a bit of a slowdown around that point. And then in the second half of August, we could continue to see either sideways action or dumping. And a lot of that depends on the macro. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on what we see with the S&P 500. We have gotten this indicator with the TI Gann swing indicator where we've gotten, if you look at these red triangles, I talked about this on my previous video. Take a look at my S&P 500 video where we got this 3 down days in a row from the all-time high. And historically, that can bring market corrections, and we're already seeing it continue to correct. So if that continues down, we could see more corrections for Solana and crypto. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense. Let me know what questions you guys have in the comments below. And stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. And take a look at my Crypto Astro Mastermind, where I give you guys monthly calls live with me. We do a much deeper dive market analysis. You get all of the astrology predictions ahead of time so that you can make intelligent decisions. It's not financial advice, but you can make your own decisions. I'll tell you what I'm doing, but you have to obviously make sure to make the best decisions for you and your strategy and your goals. Okay. So basically, I'm holding Solana until it hits my stop loss around 151. That's what I'm thinking for now. And we'll just have to keep our eyes on this chart, see what happens. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.